Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon once again. I'm using this medium to welcome you to today's your favorite program, The Will, by your favorite presenter, Busari Yunusolai, popularly known as Ayeronfe. This is your favorite radio station, EbediFm. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the program. I like to use this moment to welcome both boys and girls, man, women, young and old, and everybody to today's favorite program. Welcome for joining us. Thank you for joining us. This is today's episode of The Will. Thank you, and I wish you a joyful and blessed listening. The Will is a program that is scheduled to address some important issues about our life of human beings. So, which means that we've been discussing about some important topics from the beginning of this program, from the very first day we've started. And today we'll be having another educative and informative topic. Stay tuned and enjoy the program as it started. The topic of which we're going to be discussing today is very, very much important and is very paramount and is very natural to everybody, both young and old, men and women, irrespective of the gender, the religion, the belief, or whatever you found yourself. This is something that is common to all women. The topic of which we'll be discussing today is anger. A-N-G-E-R. Anger. Anger can also be defined, or let me say, can also be expressed, or can also be said to be wrath or rage. Which means it's the same thing when we're talking about wrath and we're talking about rage and we're talking about anger. They are the same thing, but there's some usage of different words. So, which means wrath and rage are synonymous to anger. So, the topic we'll be discussing today is anger. So, please, thank you. I'll beg you and I'll urge you to take a very important listening here, that you're going to enjoy this and you will learn one or two things from today's episode of this program. Anger is defined as an intense emotional state involving a strong, uncomfortable, and non-cooperative response to a perceived provocation, hurt, or threat. Anger is an intense emotional state involving a strong, uncomfortable, and non-cooperative response to a perceived provocation, hurt, or threat. And a person experiencing anger will often experience physical effects such as increased heat, elevated blood pressure, and so on and so forth. So, which means when you are angry, then you have your heartbeat increase and you have your blood pressure elevated. Anger is one of the important parts of human being that triggers the part of a fight or flight response. It triggers the part of a fight or flight response to anything that comes our way, or to something that we've already perceived, or to something that we've passed through. Anger may be ignited behaviorally, that is, through actions, and can also be ignited cognitively through intention, and can also be ignited psychologically through reasoning. So, which means you might be angry based on your actions, you might be angry based on your intentions, and you might be angry based on your reasoning. When you think about something, it might get you angry. When you plan something that you want to be angry about this thing, then it can be an intentional anger, and it can also be ignited through actions. This might be your action and it might be another person's action, but it is going to be something that is going to trigger your anger. So what are the physical symptoms of anger? When someone is angry, what do you see in them that make you know and understand, that make you decode that they are angry? The first thing you are going to observe is they will have a distorted expression or speech. Whenever they are speaking, when they are angry, their anger, their speech will be distorted, will be breaking. Some people have a kind of anger that makes their body to shake. That anytime they are angry, they shake their body starts shaking, or their limbs, their hands or their legs start shaking. You can also know when someone is angry through increase of eyebrow size. Sometimes when somebody is angry, their eyebrow size increases, becomes larger, and sometimes it becomes smaller, depending on that person's body system. When some people are angry, they change in the eye color. Sometimes when you see someone that is angry, their eyes color will change from something maybe white to yellow, and sometimes from white to red. So when someone is angry, they tend to speak at the top of their volume, at the top of their voice. They increase their volume, they increase their sound, maybe shouting or some other things like that. So when someone is speaking at a very violent way, then you know that that person is angry. And the most important thing that is much more common is that when you are angry, you tend to have increase in strength and in power to do some things. You have your power doubled, you have your strength doubled. So when you notice this in any person, that means the person is about to get angry, or that person is already angry. Anger is said to cause a loss in self-monitoring capacity and objective observability. Anger used to cause a loss in self-monitoring capacity and objective observability. So when you are angry, you lose the monitorings of yourself. You cannot monitor yourself. You cannot monitor what you say. You cannot monitor the actions that you are taking. So when you are angry, you lose your self-monitoring capacity and you lose your objectivity. That this is what I want to do. This I don't want to do this. This is what I want to say, and this is what I don't want to say. You lose all these things when you are angry. Anger is viewed as normal, natural, mature emotions with functional value for survival. Anger is viewed as normal, natural, and mature emotion with functional value for survival. So which means it's normal for you to be angry, and it's natural when you are angry, and it's even mature, and it's a functional value for survival. So when you are angry about something, it is not something that is very bad for you to get mad at something, for you to get angry at something. It is very much important that you should get angry at a certain thing, because that will set you, will give you a place in the society. Nonetheless, uncontrolled anger can, however, negatively affect one's personal and social well-being. When you have uncontrolled anger, it can affect negatively your personal life and your social well-being, and can also impact negatively on those around you. So which means you need to manage your anger, you need to control them. If you don't control your anger, then you impact negatively on those around you, your family, your friend, your neighbor, your colleagues. And if you cannot manage your anger, then it results to something that is going to affect your personal and social life. So this is where we're going today: uncontrolled anger. This can lead to development of a coronary heart disease, stress-related problems such as insomnia, digestive problems, and headache. So when you have uncontrollable anger, then you can develop coronary heart diseases, and you can also develop stress-related problems such as insomnia, problems of the digestibility, and you can also have headache. You can have high blood pressure. You can also suffer from heart attack, likewise stroke and depression. So which means uncontrollable anger is one of the bad things that happen to human being unknowingly. So So if you are someone that cannot control your anger, then you're having a big problem. Controlling your anger is one of the strengths that you need to master, because it's one of the things that takes you to where you're going, and it's something that can stop you from going where you're going. So if you cannot control your anger, then you are prone to develop some heart-related diseases, and you are also prone to develop some stress-related problems. You can develop heart attack, you can develop high blood pressure, you can develop depression, you can develop a lot of issues that has to do with heart issues. So let's talk about how to control your anger. Let me tell you, the best a man can do is always be at the top of everything. You must always stay above every situation, holding the steering, the wheel, the gear, the gas pedal, the throttle, and the clutch of your life. Never ever allow anything to take away anything from you. Let me remind you that this is our home. Our body is just like a shell. It's just like a home that embodied us. The soul is our personal self, but the body is just the carcass of our existence. So if you allow this flesh, the blood, and other things to take away our soul, if you allow it to overpower us, then at the end of the day, we cannot reach where we plan. We just see ourselves planning things, and at the end of the day, we are not achieving them. That is why self-discipline is very, very much important. And we've discussed self-discipline from the beginning of this episode some weeks ago. We've discussed how we can develop self-discipline, and we also discussed how we can manage it. And we've discussed the importance of the self-discipline. So let's now go straight to how can you control your anger, because it's very much important. Because when people know that something gets you angry, that the next thing they will do is that whenever they want you to get angry, they do it for you. If people notice that a certain sentence makes you angry, then whenever they want you to get angry, then they utter that statement to you. So you must be a kind of a person that is very, very difficult to predict. That this is your next step. It is very, very bad if you are predictable. So which means that you must be a person that someone cannot describe. That if you do this to him, that this is going to be his response. Because if they know that this will be your response, they can easily wait for you at the end of your journey. So without much ado, let's go straight to how you can control your anger. The first thing is you need to check yourself. You need to know yourself. You need to know everything about yourself. You need to know yourself as the back of your hand. Your strengths, your weakness, something that ignites your anger, and something that is going to quench your anger. You need to know everything about yourself. So after you've already recognized what makes you angry, then you need to avoid it. Don't go down into it. I've already discussed the second one. You need to avoid everything that gets you angry. You need to avoid everything that ignites your anger. The next thing you need to do is you need to change the way you think. If you're someone that cannot manage your anger, then you need to change the way you think about some things. If initially something that is universally accepted by people is something that you think is wrong, then you need to manage that aspect. You need to change your reasoning. You need to change your perspective about some things in order for you to be able to manage your anger. But the next thing you need to cultivate is the ability to relax. You need to relax. One of the most important things that one can do is when you need to relax your brain, you need to relax your mind, you need to relax your thoughts, you need to relax your limbs, you need to relax your muscle, you relax everything. Before you do anything, before you respond to anything, before you take action in response to anything or any statement that was uttered to you, then you need to relax and think through. You can make use of a focused breathing, like the first thing you need to do after you've already been aired, like maybe someone uttered a very negative words to you, or maybe someone has done something that is very bad to you. You need to take a huge breath. While taking a huge breath, then you can assemble yourself, you can think about it, you can decode, and you can be objective about your response. Another way you can use to relax is you visualizing a relaxing experience. This is one of the parts that is very, very essential. This one is even useful when you want to manage sadness. You notice that you want to get angry. The next thing you need to do is you look into something that can cool you down, something that can bring you down. Or you notice that something has already gotten you sad, then you need to think. You need to visualize a relaxing experience. You need to visualize a joyful moment that you need to reframe. You need to rephrase it. Go back into that memory and put yourself into such situation. Traveling away from where you are, it is very, very much important that you need to learn one of those things. The last thing you need to do is you need to improve your communication skills. You need to listen before you react. Most of the time, we don't understand, we don't listen. We only listen just for the listening's sake. We do not care to understand what they are saying. So if you understand what people are trying to pass to us, if you put yourself in such a situation that if I was the one, will I do the same thing? If you're going to do the same thing, then it needed you not to get angry about that thing. You need to improve your communication skills. You need to cultivate the habit of listening before you react. You need to listen thoroughly before you present your response. If you don't listen thoroughly to some things, at the end of the day, you are prone to utter the wrong statement, or you are prone to react in the wrong way. Anger is something that we cannot eliminate as human beings, but you learn how to control it by staying above every situation, by always being the master of everything that you do, by never allowing your environment, the circumstances you found yourself to take away your being. You must take the steering. You must have the gear. You must take the pedal. You must have the clutch of your life. Don't give it to anybody. Don't give it to any situation. And don't give it to any circumstance. Don't allow the environment you found yourself to infiltrate your level of decision making. Don't allow the circumstances that you found yourself to influence your level of response and the way you reason about things. Formulate everything. If you found yourself in a bad situation, visualize a better one. Instead of you to get angry, use a focused breathing. Relax your brain. Think very well. Make sure that your statement passes through the brain before you utter them. Make sure the action that you want to take passes through the brain before you take them. One of the bad things that people do is that it is very, very impossible for you to remove the speech you've already uttered. It is very, very impossible for you to undo something you've already done. So that means you must take into consideration everything that you need to consider before you are going to take action or before you are going to make a statement, so that you don't regret taking a step. So that you don't regret saying something. Anger is something that is part of human being, but uncontrollable anger is very, very bad. If you find yourself difficult to manage your anger, and you've tried all these things and you still cannot manage your anger, then I will advise you that you visit a hospital to manage to help to visit hospital and consult your doctor to help you manage your anger. Because extreme anger is the same thing as madness. So we won't be able to go beyond this because of our time frame. So we thank you for listening to this our favorite program. We thank you for listening to all our programs from the beginning. And we also thank you for being part of us from the beginning of this radio station, from the beginning of this project. We use this medium to urge you to follow us on our Facebook, to follow us on our Instagram, to follow us on our YouTube, and subscribe to our channel because you don't want to miss any of our programs. Our programs are informative, educative, and entertaining. We discuss much on culture and tradition of Yorubas. And what about the religious teachings? Those two are very, very richly presented to you from this radio station. And we have a lot of entertaining program in different perspective, in different segments. So there is nothing you're looking for that you cannot find here. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for being part of us, and thank you for joining us for this radio program. We will say this at the end of this today episode because the time is not on our side. By next week, inshallah, by God's grace, we'll be starting another program, another topic rather. We'll be discussing another topic that is much informative and much educative. So till then, I wish you joyful rest. And I'm using this medium to greet our Muslim brothers and sisters, Ramadan Kareem. May we live in sound health and great wealth to see beyond this Ramadan and see beyond that of next year. And may God Almighty bestow upon us the resources to fast and be acceptable ibadah to Almighty Allah. So thank you very much. This will be the end of today's episode. Thank you very much. We still have our next program coming to your hearing and your view. Stay tuned. I still remain your very good presenter, Busari Yunus Olaide, popularly known as Sayero Mfe, and this radio station still remain that's your number one online community radio of Asian people, Ebedi radio station. And these radio programs still remain one of your favorite radio programs, The Will, where we're discussing the necessary condiment of human being to achieve in life, to not be like a snake that passes through the rock without having an impact. Till next week that we're going to be having another episode. Thank you. God bless you. Bye. EbediFm,